everybody, and welcome along to League of Europe Season 8. This is the second pre-season race of the evening, well, the last 2 weeks actually, and we go to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for the Mexican Grand Prix, and it should be very, very exciting. This is Lobby 3. My name is Jespel, and joining me by my side this evening is, of course, Mr. Evil Dragon. How are you doing tonight, Liam?
Well, hello everyone, and yes, look who's here. They dragged me in here as my good friends of League of Europe. We love them. They dragged me in here. And I'm here. I like these guys. They're lovely as well. Some of the greatest drivers, some of the greatest minds, in my opinion. But here we are. We're here for the pre-season kind of things. I'm going to call it pre-season. That's what I've enacted to call it today. But it's going to be interesting to see what all our drivers can do. I know quite a few of these people from doing last season, and I'm sure you know quite a few from your experience as well.
Yes, indeed, and obviously quite a few people raced in the lobby that I was commentating in last week as well, where we were at Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix, just like the real-life drivers are actually. In real life, remember we saw the likes of obviously Charles Leclerc pour a stellar pole lap, if you didn't see qualifying, then tough, I just gave you a little bit of a spoiler alert, but there we go. But we saw RJ take the win there, surprise, surprise, he's not in this lobby tonight, he's in a lobby higher than that. So is Nolan as well, so that's great to see. I think we saw the likes of Marcio, who did really well at the beginning of the last race, but he got very, very unlucky later on, and he finished himself in P11. Giant Bravery was not that far behind him as well. We have Damon as well in the mix too, so yeah, looking forward to it, as my Discord has decided to die for a little bit. No, my Discord is back. Okay, my Discord is back for a little bit, because I had it on red ping, which was not very good. But
you did cut out for a few seconds.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did cut out for a few seconds, but we are all good at the moment. But what could you expect from these drivers tonight around Mexico? Because for some of these drivers, it's their last chance to prove themselves and where they deserve to be in, say, Division 3, Division 2, or maybe even Division 1 if they're quick.
Yeah, it's always going to be crucial. I mean, we like to Jordan and Jordan the second. Those two are always pretty quick. I've seen those guys go absolutely hell to the level. We got likes of Esteban. He is another driver which I've definitely seen being very good. Leddy's one of those that he could be definitely looking for the likes of Division 3, hopefully higher low. We'll see what everyone can do. Anything can normally happen here, and very much it usually does in history. But my money on the people that might be doing the better here will be the likes of the Jordans. As well, I've seen a few others. Got Damon here, who is, of course, EVG as well. I'm trying to remember what esports team that is. There's so many of them in my mind, but EVG I know pretty good historically. So it could be quite interesting to see what everyone can do here, Jess, isn't that?
Yeah, it is, and I did some practice earlier on because obviously I got a race later on too, which I'm absolutely dreading, but I have an idea of what challenging point on the circuit these drivers have to negotiate, and this is also a track where drivers can get a lot of penalties as well, so it could come out on top. The only difference between last week and this week is damage is going to be on standard this time, so the drivers I think need to be more aware in terms of their racecraft. Safety car though will still be off, because again this is the test of driver's pace, and also with damage on it's going to be a test of the driver's consistency. So we will look at this beautiful track map. It is 4.304 kilometers long, and it has 17 turns, 7 to the left, 10 to the right, and just 3 DRS zones, 1 at the start finish straight, 1 from the middle of turn 3 heading towards turn 4, then we got 1 at turn 11 in to turn number 12. First is Formula 1, 1986, but it was built in 1959 by the Rodriguez brothers, Ricardo and Pedro. Ricardo, that was a familiar name, isn't it, as well? And 1963 was won by Jim Clark, I believe, well, the next few years, and then it was a bit of a no man's land until it was welcomed back onto the F1 calendar back in 2015. It sits over 2 kilometres above sea level, also hosts Formula E from time to time as well, and what a good race that is as well. But without further ado, we'll go through the drivers there. So we got Chris, we got MCR. Some of the drivers obviously are not here tonight because they couldn't make it. Some of them are being naughty boys and let the organisers know on the day, which is not ideal. So they get 5 licence points, which is normally not a good start to their season. Only 19 drivers. Sunny day, and one thing to point out, Liam, as well, no rain. It's going to be dry all the way through because that's what the lobby host has set it to. So, yes, that's the other similarity compared to last week. Dry. So, thank goodness they're not going to be sliding all over the place. But we did commentate on a pre-season race in another league in the past, haven't we, Liam? Where we've seen lots of spins around here.
Yeah, it's quite an easy circuit. If you get it wrong, you get it very wrong. The curbs around here very high. Now, this circuit, by the way, as Jess mentioned earlier, it has been on the F1 calendar before, back in the 1980s and the very early 1990s. A very different kind of circuit, though very similar at the same time. The corners, I've driven actually recently on Assetto Corsa, which is a close enough replica to it, and the corners are a little bit more tighter, a little more technical. And of course, the major change around it, the last corner now is, of course, used to be a quick full right. I think it's I can't remember what the corner name is again on top of my head, but it'll come to me eventually. But that used to be a near flat out right-hand king, of course, slightly banked as well. Of course, since it went into disrepair of the early 2000s up towards the 2010s and came back recently, that stadium section, which now sits on the last corner, is there, which is a very decent last little couple of corners. And to be fair, you can technically still drive around at the old banking, the Formula reuse it, but they do have a chicane through there as well. As you come down, I'm running on board with MCR into turn number 1. Chuck it in there, third gear onto their first little corner, then maybe second on the exit if you need it, but third gear normally quite ideal in these V6 hybrid 2022 cars, especially which I found out anything normally before third instantly kills you. Coming down here as you now go back down into third gear, and you might just that second is to get the front end turned in the slowest section on this circuit into one of those few corners that on this track that did change from the 1980s and 90s. And of course, this section here, slightly different, of course, unfortunately, on the F1 22 game. In fact, since it came back on F1 2015, that is wrong because this corner here isn't correct. So it's not flat, it's actually a lot more sharper than you think, but on the game, it's pretty much a flat-out corner, as Marty goes currently P1 so far, the only driver to set a lap time, bar Harry, who is the other driver to set a lap time, as the first couple of drivers set one through into the stadium section, where the floor of the grandstand will rise above if you win the race. Through the last corner, a yellow flag somewhere around the circuit, and let's see where this goes. P5 from MCR.
Yes, decent that as well. I expect lap times to be in the 1:16s, 1:15s tonight, and we're already in the 1:16s already, which is great to see. We'll see one of the AlphaTauris come to cross the line soon. That is Giant Bravery, by the way, who I believe has invalidated, but he would have done a 1:22.0, which would have been way off the pace. We've got Adledi, who I believe he commentated on last season towards the end, came across the line in 5th. Interesting fact about Ryan B, actually, who is currently sitting in P3. He was having a nice title fight a couple of seasons ago in Division 4. It went all the way down to the final race, and it did get a bit heated for the time being as well. And, well, the constructors were also between them two, and also Maverick and Marty as well. So that was great to see as well. And talking about MCR, which we were looking at a lap, he was the most consistent last season. Rarely qualified in the top 10, but scored every single round last season, including a couple of podiums as well, which was very, very nice as well. Just a few facts about certain drivers. Marcio is on pole. Chris in second at the moment as he comes up to the line. Any more drives up to the line? A few drives going into the pits. Actually, we got ERT John about to start his lap. Slayer about to start his lap as well. It's both Slayer and Giant Bravery are returning after a season away because they didn't race last season, and they're both very clean drivers as well. And those two, as we were saying earlier, Liam, can jump some of these drivers who tend to pick up a lot of penalties around here. So watch out for those two to climb up the order if they keep it clean again. But obviously a lot harder to do on this game. So it should be interesting to see. Flex is about to start his next run as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting in terms of the penalty front. But I'm not surprised to see Marcy up there at the top. But there's certain drivers who I'm expecting to be at the top. They're not quite at the top yet.
Yeah, like you said, with the penalty around this circuit, historically you can see up to a minimum. The most I've seen is a 25-second penalty recently around here. It's so easy to just get a mistake, especially as you come through, as I run on board of Jordan, into these corners here. It's so quick in these corners, and you make one small mistake, you've got to get it right. If you go a little bit wide here, that's a warning. There's a warning. There's another warning potential that you can pick up a penalty very quickly. Because remember, it's only 3 warnings and a penalty will come your way. So you've got to be on it. If you do make a mistake, it's punishable by immediate penalty. As you see, John, he's coming up behind one of the Alpines, who dives to the inside. Little bit probably naughty there. Didn't really help anyone doing that. Probably could have stayed where he was, as Jordan will only go up to 14. I think he might have felt a little bit impeded there. I'm wondering who that might have been. It might have been Bastios then, who is just coming in the pit then in the Alpine then. So a little bit naughty for him. He jumped out of the way at the last opportunity, at the last corner, but the way he did it, probably could have just stayed going and then kept himself to the right through the exit of the corner, but chose to go in there and lane, which is fair enough to be fair, but not ideal, I suppose, for him. So far, though, Marcio, he's currently P1 from Chris in second. Marty is currently in third. He's on an out-lap so far. Everyone, I think, pretty much on a in-lap of some description. We have got
Marty's about to start his run.
A lap as well, and like I said, Marty on a lap time so far as he comes down one of the longest straights in Formula 1. I think it is nearly about a 600-700 meter run towards turn 1. I think only Spain is slightly around that distance as well. Nicely through turn 1 and 2. I'm in 5th gear as well, using higher gears than some of the other drivers to get that added bit of traction. Remember, of course, traction the key thing, as well as your ERS. Purple sector 1 by a 10th and a bit, nearly 2/10 of a second. 4th gear through here, so you can definitely tell he is running with no traction control. You can definitely tell who is and who is not, because the more drivers in the higher gears, that normally indicates they are running the likely of low to definitely no traction at all. If you are running full traction, you can put it down into the lower gears like 2nd and 3rd. Talking of flex, I mentioned earlier, he has just gone up to P1 at 16.0. Let's see what the Haas can do. It's 3 and a bit temps up so far. Not a purple second sector as well, but I don't think he's aiming for potentially pole position right now as a 16.0. He's pretty ominous, but if he can get himself around about a 16.2 to a 16.3, I think he'll enjoy that one. He comes up to the line and will go to a 16.3 directly. I like when that happens.
Yeah, I like that too. Mr. Consistent, MCR, he's going towards the final few corners now as he chucks his Mercedes car to wherever he's going to place it. It's going to be in P7, not too shabby for him. I believe we got one of the blue cars, which is hard to tell on this game, that's about to cross the line. And it's not a blue car, it's a Haas car. In 1:15.7, first man into the 1:15s, which is great to see. Not really that surprising for Marcio, because he's up top anyway. We got an AlphaTauri coming up to the line. I don't think Giant Bravery improved on position. Nope, he's going to be on his flying lap anyway. There's a lot of traffic in the final set. We got an Alpine, we got 2 Aston Martins, we got a Ferrari, we got another AlphaTauri, we've got a McLaren as well. So it's going to be very hard to find space during their laps. So I'm a bit worried about these guys. This Giant Bravery has completely ruined his lap. And yes, you have to go again. And I'm just seeing if he got damage. I think he got away with it, but he's broken the brake marker boards, which is not handy for those who do not rely on them. I rely on them too much when I race, because sometimes the racing line, it tells you to brake a little bit too late, so that's why I always rely on the brake marker boards as well. But yes, a bit unfortunate for one of the AlphaTauris, but the other AlphaTauri, he's coming up to the line. He was on his outlap, so he's going to go again. Next across the line will be, it's just hard to tell, is it Harry F? No, Harry F just come across the line in P11 and he stays in P11. Quite a few drivers going into the pit. The yellow flag in turn 6 area. I think it's just people slowing down, just moving out the way. But you're one of your favourite man, Esteban, as I like to call him, as Evil likes to call him, Esteban. He doesn't mind whatever really, this man, but he raced in Division 4 last season. And he doesn't improve on his lap time, only stays in, well, he does improve, but he doesn't improve on position, P14. So, yeah, not many people improving on their second runs, only a few people. And, Calman, you're not meant to do that. You're not meant to cut the S's like that. That was interesting as I rode on board with that. But, yeah, few more people to finish off their laps, but not many improvements from some of the guys. But let's just watch Chris to see what he can do.
Yeah, with 7 minutes to go in qualifying, it's going to be quite interesting to see what they do. That's probably why some are doing track extensions, as like you said, Chris in the McLaren Mercedes. Well, it's just McLaren because Mercedes technically do not have a sponsorship with them, so it's just the McLaren team coming down into turn number 1. Fourth gear takes a little bit more of a shallower line through there than I've seen a few other drivers. You can hop over the curb, much on the exit as you like, but not that much because he's lost the rear end, and that is that lap.
He's on his in lap anyway, Liam.
Smoke. Yes, you are correct, but made a mistake there into turn number 1. Took a bit too much. Meanwhile, we've got Maverick. He is on a in lap as well. We've got Harry F coming into the pit lane, I believe. No, he's maybe going for a second. I think he's going for a second push lap, is Harry F. So far, I'll keep a look down and see who else on a lap time. Jordan comes up to line right now, and that's a bit of a bad lap time. Only 13 flow for him behind him there. I think the other Jordan, it is not. I think that was Ryan B coming across there. The other Jordan, meanwhile, is in 16th position, just, I believe, on his out lap as well. Callum, let's see what he's up to so far in the braking zone.
He spun in turn 1.
He spun back at turn number 1 again, so looks like not an improvement. But to be fair, it doesn't look too half bad.
No, that was his previous lap. His first push lap, but he binned it in towards turn 3, but he seems to be okay at the moment. Can he improve? Well, he can improve because he didn't P4, my friend. P4's out a lot better, so maybe in real life, just like the Mercedes crew, it just takes a long time for these tyres to warm up. And I have to say, I agree with these guys. It takes a lot of times for tyres to warm up, including in the race as well, when you change tyres. So maybe he didn't warm up his tyres a lot in this first run, and that probably strongly suggests he's not going to use softs in the race. But Ryan B then, Division 4 champion from a couple of seasons ago in the Alfa Romeo, currently sitting in P11 right now with a 1:17.024. He's going to head towards the final few corners. His teammate is right in front of him. No, Ryan B is not going to head towards the final few corners because he's in the pit lane. MCR's about started his run. Flex is 5 seconds down, so he's probably going to go into the pits. The only man not to set a lap time is EBG Damon, down in last position at the moment, but he's still got 4 minutes and 42 seconds to go. Well, you have to go quicker than that, my friend, if you want to go into the pits and get your lap in time, because otherwise you're going to be a little bit buggered as well. Flex doesn't improve. No, he does 1:22.8 where he did 1:16.0, but again, no one is matching Flex's Marcio's time at the moment. But we've got the other Alfa Romeo Jordan, Ariel Jordan, 1:17.8 at the moment. He's on a run. We'll see what he can do. By the way, it is ERT Jordan's birthday today, so happy birthday, Jordan. You're racing on your birthday, which is commitment, I have to say. Just shows the amount of commitment that quite a lot of these drivers put in to LOE every week. And if you race on your birthday, then surely means you're going to be committed for the season. But let's watch Ariel Jordan going towards the stadium section, which I absolutely love, by the way. As I can't see what gears he got. Sometimes I've got telemetry on at the moment, but I will put it on into the race. Jordan up to the line. He improves by 3/10, but he stays in P16 right now. So 3 minutes and 37 seconds left to go to the session, Liam. It's the calm before the storm, isn't it?
Yes, calm before the storm. The two Jordans pretty much nearly matching each other there on their laps. As well, Esteban comes out. We're waiting on Damon, who invalidated his next lap. Meanwhile, Flex, is he coming into the pit lane? He was 3/10 up on his lap time, but I think he's coming for a new set of tyres with over 3 minutes to go. The last couple of cars coming out on circuit. We've got Bastos AMD. He'll be the driver who's first on a lap time, and this will be his last run he can really do unless he does make a mistake. Like, I think actually saying that he's already done a lap time, so he might come in, but he won't get back out again if he does. So he's going to have to either take a low push lap, or he's going for a second burn on those tyres. Of course, doesn't matter on your tyre wear and how much you use, because you will be able to start on whatever tyres you want during the Grand Prix. That's all slow and look pretty decent through there as he comes up through the middle sector area now, as you now come up of that double right-hander, and now into the S section, which is always quite horrible for me. I never get the handle of it. I normally end up spinning off through here. Well, I used to, but saying that, on this game, a little bit more lucky for me so far. Though it can be easily, like I said, invalidate. Let's see what Bastos can do as he crosses the second sector split. 3 and a bit temps up, 336 up on my telemetry. He has used nearly all of his ERS. Now, that is always going to be quite a critical thing. ERS management is one of the more important situations in Grand Prix racing, especially these days. As well, on this F1 22 game, they're so easy. What I say is so easy, and that is using all your ERS and not having any left, which is exactly what he's done right now. So he's got none less. We've got Marcio, who's currently on his last lap as well. He's out on circuit as well. We've got Kalman on his lap time. We've got Jay on his lap time. So quite a few of them on a lap time right now. A lady on a lap time, but he's an invalid lap time. So I'll have a look at Jay so far as he comes down through the mid-sector, down towards the third sector. Split was about 81 thousandths up. He is now 62 thousandths up on his lap time. He has one of the Aston Martins just up ahead. You should dive to the inside line. Nicely done, Sonny Jim. And then the Ferrari will say thank you very much through the last corner. As long as it doesn't hit the wall on the exit, you'll all be nice and dandy here. Takes it as wide as you can. Cuts it in to make it as shallow as you can up to the line, and that's P8 for him so far. The other Ferrari, meanwhile, that is Esteban, has gone off through the S section. It looks like potentially getting out of the way. Next up, we have a spinning cowman. Here's what we have right there. He's just gone off the circuit at the same corner. We've got Bastos in the pit lane. Esteban, I don't think he's gonna get a lap in. So I think, Jez, we've only got a couple more cars
he's not
on
gonna
a
get
lap
a lap,
time.
and he's damaged his front wing.
Yes. Well, that's not ideal, is it? That is slightly not ideal. He's broke his front wing. We now look up to see Marty is on a lap that he's going to be doing one more lap if he wants to do it. So it's going to be critical time. 16 seconds to go. So if you're going to get a lap time in, you've got to do it now. We've got Cowman on his last lap as well. We've got a few coming out the back of the circuit. We've got MCR crossing the line right now, stays 10th. We've got Maverick who's just dropped as well. And that's in the S section. Another driver, that's the third so far in the space of over a minute and a half that has gone off through there. So that just proves just how tricky these corners have been.
Yep, it is, and to be honest, for people that are running hardly any traction at all, probably finding it a little bit more tricky. A lot of cars going towards the final sector, so we'll keep an eye on those, but quite a lot of people have invalidated. Noah J is one of those drivers. We've got Maverick on his final run. Can he improve from a 116.5? No, he can't. He's slowing down anyway. Next, Bastos. Is he going to improve? I doubt he's going to improve on his one. No, he's not going to improve on his 117. Not many improvements. I think the only man that can improve is 2 temps up in the middle sector. Oh no, he's invalidated. So Marty is not going to improve. Cowman has spun again. So I think it's just Ryan B that can improve. He's only a few 100s down on his previous best. So he's got to have a very good final sector if he wants to get into the top 10, but it doesn't look like he's going to get in the top 10. He's going to get 13, but it's all so close from the likes, I would say, of Marty all the way down to Ryan B. So that is very, very intense. Just show how close this grid is. But it is Marcio on pole position, only man in the 115s, Flex in second, and Marty in P3. We are going to have a stellar of a race, Liam.
Yeah, like I said, Marcio on that pole position then. Flex in second, Marty in third. Carmen, who's gone for another spin, it seems like, in the middle sector. He's having a bit of warm tyre issues, it centres right there. We've got Slayer will start 5th. Giant Bravery, well, he's put a brave face on so far. He is in 6th, ahead of Chris and Maverick. Harry in 9th, Jay in 10th. MCI had a...
YHYY, he's called. YHYY.
Well, I'm going to call him YY now. That is his new name. I've established that in my mind. Ryan B ahead of a Lenny Damon in 15th. The double Jordan, double trouble for the double J is in 16th and 17th. Esteban in 18th and Bastos in 19th. Didn't really get a fully representative lap time, I think, for him. He made a few mistakes when he was on good laps. So there's a bit more time for Bastos to find, but he just kept having small twitches through the SX, and it looked like. So there's all to be improvements here and up down the order. But 19 drivers, one Mexico City Grand Prix circuit, well, the Manuel Rodriguez, might we say, of course, named after the racing driver as well beared his name. Remember, though, the most successful Mexican driver, Sergio Perez, currently as well. I think he's on, is he 2 wins now? He's got, is it 3? I think Perez,
well, he won in Bahrain, 2020. He won in Baku of this year, and he won Monaco. So, yeah, it's 3. But let's run through your order then. We've got Marcio from Flex, Marty Cowman, Slayer, Giant Bravery, Chris Maverick, Harry and Noah J are your top 10. We've got MCRY, Troy, Ryan B, Aledi, Damon, the 2 Jordans, Steban and Bastos bringing up the rear. So that is your grid order for today's Mexican Grand Prix, the final pre-season race of the season. Final chance for all these drivers to show everybody what they are made of as well. And of course, the season, well, it doesn't start until the 5th of July. Not that long at all. It starts next week in Bahrain, so it won't be that long until the placements are at the side of the course. So really, they only have one chance, and obviously, I believe it looks like it's only going to be 4 divisions this season, not the 5. So we are going to have quite a lot of reserves this season, but you know, we've got the most dedicated here as well. There are some drivers that are not here tonight because some of the drivers, well, they did race last week, and the organisers know about their pace, so they didn't have to race unless they were called upon. But some of those drivers were called upon tonight. Some of them couldn't make it, and I wonder if the ones who let the organisers know last minute are even going to race at all this season. But we are about to get underway for 36 laps of racing. 3 tyre choices, just like Liam was saying earlier on, and we are most likely going to be seeing either mediums or hards to start the race, or they can choose whatever side they want to. But we got a bit of a mixture as I get the screen up. Right, is I haven't got it on my stream deck, which is annoying, but I have it on here right now. So we've got Marcio on the hards, we've got Flex on the mediums, Marty on the hards, Calvin on the hards, Slayer on the mediums, Giant Bravery on the hards, Chris on the hards, Maverick, Harry, Noah J, MCR and White Try Y on the hards, Ryan B's on the mediums, Aledi on the hards, Damon on the hards, Jordan on the hards, the other Jordan, Ariel Jordan, who is one of the organisers here, on the mediums, Stevan on the hards, and Bastos on the hards. So, out of all the drivers, Liam, only 4 drivers have opted for the medium compounded tyres, and we already had a spinner. That was a Letty there, as I just saw that at the corner of my
coming
eye.
Together.
Yeah, it was those 2.
There.
That was fine.
Those 2 came together, very spectacularly came together on my screen there. I was riding on board with it was Esteban there, just looking through the tyres as you were going through them, and then all of a sudden I saw smoke and a car flying sideways into the wall. So something's definitely gone on between those 2, and hopefully, well, they both disqualified. Remember, by the way, if you are just new to this game, you have to do a manual grid as well. And like last couple of games, you have to, you can automatically put in your grid slot. Now it's manually you get from the grid slot, which is always quite entertaining because many drivers can get disqualified through this. And there's another 2, talking of the buggers. We're now up to 4 disqualifications, and it's Jay and MCR and Aledi and Damon have both been disqualified respectively. So a few naughty boys right there as well. And there we come through the last corner. Marcio, hard, medium, hard, medium, hard, medium. Pretty much a few on the mediums, rest on the hards. Then no one on the soft tyres, because why would they? Around a circuit which is pretty prone to overheating those tyres. Here we go. Then Marcio, is he going to get it nice and stopped in his grid slot? No. He will not get it in his grid slot. What about Flex? Yes, he will just about.
Calman's not.
Well. So quite a few of them have made a little bit of a hash of their grid slots, but that won't matter too much. They just get reset back to their respective
No, they'll
grid
be further back.
positions.
They'll be further back from their grid slot, so there'll be a huge advantage. But Liam, over to you for the start.
Oh, here we go then. 5 red lights, and when they're off, the cameraman won't work me because he's stuck in a tree. But we are underway, I think, because I can see something in the distance moving. And I think we are. There we go. The cameraman's working as we are going down towards turn number 1. Too little. Oh, there's a big accident in the middle of the field. Who was that? That is
Calvin.
AlphaTauri of Calmont, he hasn't made turn one, but Marcio leads us 3 abreast into the corner. McLaren, they're getting bunched up as well. I think one of the Red Bulls involved there as it come through turn number 1, but it's the Haas that leads them from Marcio. Flex in second, Marti in third. Then comes Maverick, then comes Chris as well. Then comes the gaggle of cars then. We've got that, like I said, the McLarens and the AlphaTauris, the Ferraris all bunched up in the midfield as well as it comes down into these corners. Kalman is already out of this race before it has even begun. He hasn't even made it towards turn 1. That's how quickly that happened. And as well, we can see around the outside, Giant Bravery there, always off the circuit as well.
Change of leader.
Yep, change of leader. Flex now leads this race, so he's got ahead. Marcio made a mistake because here is Marty then, trying to look up the inside of his fellow compatriot teammate then. Can't quite do it there. Maverick in 4th still, so it is Aston Martin, Haas, Aston Martin, then comes the McLaren, then that gaggle of the Mercedes, the Red Bull, the Ferrari, then the AlphaTauri, the sole AlphaTauri in this race, then comes the blue gaggle of the Williams, and then the second Red Bull, I believe it is, then comes a slow moving Ryan B, might I say, who's made a bit of a mistake through the last corner. Esteban behind in 15th. Jordan, meanwhile, is taking no prisoners. Here is 1 position up for him. And now into 15th position. As you can see up the inside, the Red Bull battling with the pair of the cars. Oh, there's another one off. There's the other AlphaTauri's dropped it off. Yeah, Giant Bravery, the other AlphaTauri. Both AlphaTauris are having a torrid time so far. As you can see, the McLaren battling around there. We've got Damon trying to battle as well. A lot of battles here in this current little midfield section. And Damon there getting past Ryan B. Can't quite get past Jordan right there. Letty holds on ahead of ERT Jordan. The real gainers so far in this race, that will be, if I can figure out where
Maverick.
it is. Maverick up 4, up 6 for Jordan. Up 5 for MCR. Losers 15 for Calvin. Bravery down 12. Down 2 respectively for Marcio and Slayer as well. Everyone else has kept themselves all in good nick. 1-stop strategy, by the way, that 20 to 29. A 2-stop 14 to 29. And then I think it was 22 to 36 is your range for your last stop. But Flex is absolutely bolting off in the distance so far. First lap of this race, 1.4 seconds for the Aston Martin driver. Behind him, Marty and Marcio are now line astern, dragging along the second Aston Martin. The top 4 already getting a bit of a gap so far. Then we got Chris, MCR and Slayer. They're in a little battle. Then a tiny little bit of a gap to the next couple of cars. And that is J. Harry, Y8YY, Jordan Damon. And then we've got Ryan Berry. A little bit of a gap back to Esteban and Letty, her battle. Then we've got the bottom 3 of Jordan Bastios and Giant Bravery so far down the back after a small mistake. Both AlphaTauris, though, Jess, are going to be fuming with their mistakes. That one didn't make it. Well, one did make it past the end of the pit lane. The other one having issues at the second opportunity at turn number 1.
That is a bit of a shame. Quite a lot of these drivers are brand new to the league, as Harry F has gone for a little bit of a spin into the S's, and he's got a damaged front wing to boot as well. So he's going to unfortunately go into the pit lane, but Flex is already pulling away right now, so it's showing that the mediums are the fast tyre, but he will have to pit a lot earlier than everybody else on the hard. Slayer on the mediums, not able to close up onto MCR just yet, not getting the DRS that he needed, but he gets his chance right now to do so. He's got plenty of ERS as well, and it is so OP down this long front start finish straight. So here he goes then to the right hand side in towards turn number 1. Can he hold his line and stick it and make the move? Yes, he can, or maybe not, as MCR gets the switchback. Nicely timed from the Mercedes driver. This is like Red Bull versus Mercedes all over again from last year. Slayer launched the attack once again, heading towards turn number 4. DRS activated as well. Goes to the right hand side, then cuts to the left just a little bit more, and Slayer gets position once again. Maybe he didn't mind getting the position. Well, MCR getting the position into turn number 3 because Slayer would get the DRS, so that was well timed by them as well. So I said Slayer needed to gain positions. Well, he's gained one. He's up into P6. Really, really good to see. We got a nice midfield battle as Damon has had a bit of a spin now, so I was going on board with him as he's now down to 17th position, so he's not in that fight anymore. We got Ryan B that's got a time penalty, as we were alluding to earlier on as well. But yeah, those are the only battles going on at the moment. And the two Alfa Romeos are battling line of turn. I wonder those two would team up as teammates for the season, because it's not going to be that long until people decide their teammates. As we're seeing fastest laps going left, right and centre. I'm wondering if Slayer is going to push again. He's very close to that DRS chain. We're watching Maverick then, who's doing a decent job so far. Maverick is prone to a bit of crashes last season, but he's doing a lot better. Oh, I spoke too soon. Marcio and Maverick made contact with each other. And yeah, that's an example of why you shouldn't commentate his curse, because that happened. Marcio's down to 12th place. Maverick up to 3rd, but he may have picked up a bit of damage because Chris is on the back of him now.
Yeah, Resty Band there as well, getting involved. A bit of contact as well. The back of Marcio, and they've hit each other again. So those two there coming into a little bit of blows. I don't think there was any intent right there, but Marcio just slightly moved a little bit, just inched a little bit. I think Esteban thought there was a bit more of a gap with his front wing to slightly tap the rear. No damage done then in the braking zone. Marcio braking just a tiny bit late, just slightly nibbling at his rear diffuser. So no love lost between those two, no harm really done. Even though I say that, the Ferrari of Esteban has a tank slapper through the corner as well, so not ideal. Meanwhile, 3.7 seconds, no, 3.1 seconds now up the road is Flex. He's just in a mind of his own so far. Then we've got Maverick in 3rd position, followed by Chris in 4th. Look at the ERS though, that's quite an interesting thing to notice, by the way. A lot of them already buzzering around that 20% mark, and it's going to be quite interesting to see how they do ERS management. You can see YHYY looking for the inside in turn number 1, and that's going to be late braking. Keep it to the inside. The Ferrari will still be there. The Ferrari very much still there. The Ferrari's still going to be there on the exit as well, but he'll have a better run. Well, that said Ferrari, because he has taken more of a outside line. And of course, YH's compromised there, trying to go side by side. Good little battle, couldn't quite do it on the exit as well. Ryan B has caught up to this gaggle as well. Further down the field, we've got Lady Jordan Marcio, who's come backing through this field, as well as Harry H has the fastest lap of this race. He's down in 18th position, but he's going to go and show what pace he does have, as we have got a car, and that is a Red Bull of Slayer, who's dropped it in the SX, and front right end plate has come off the car, and that will be a nice trip to the pit lane. Comes straight on circuit, but luckily the ghost system says thank you very much. Now both the Red Bulls ironically are back together again, and there you can see he gets out of the way of his sister team car as well, so no issues right there. Another yellow flags, and that's the other AlphaTauri. So all 3 Red Bulls, well, Red Bull kind of cars, 4 Red Bulls having issues. We've got another car off as well, and that is YHYY, who I mentioned a few moments ago was doing well. Well, he's dropped it at the last corner, and that's very easy to do, which I've noticed, unless he's had some contact which we haven't seen, which is always a possibility, but it could be also just he dropped it as well. So a small mistake here and there. Real battle on this circuit has potentially between Jay, Ryan, and Lady are all kind of close together. Rest though, it's more Jay and Ryan B and J, and then MCR not too far up the road. So those 3 are the real kind of gaggle to look out for. We've also got, like we said, the Jordan Haas, and then the Ferrari, followed by the other Mercedes coming closer up to the back of the McLaren of Aledi. So a few little battles here, Jess. A little bit of interest. We're on lap 7 of 36 with still, what, 25 and a bit laps to go.
Yeah, still anything can happen, of course. Strategy could play a factor, and there is no safety cars, remember. So they won't be relying on a safety car to get back into the race. If they get damage early on, they're pretty much buggered. But Maverick seemed to lost it a little bit into the stadium section, as Chris has gained a lot more time there. We got more time penalties. Giant Bravery has picked up another one, but we see if Chris could get the slipstream. Surely it's going to be an overtake for him, as he's got plenty of ERS once more. Aston Martin versus McLaren. While McLaren has came out on top in many occasions in real life, how's it going to fare in this race then, as Chris takes the left-hand side line? He's going to try and go the long way around this time, in towards turn 2, towards turn 3. A bit of contact off the road goes Chris a little bit there. Has he gained a bit of advantage? We'll have to wait and see, but they're both going side by side in towards turn 4. Chris will have the advantage of the DRS, but he couldn't get past Maverick, unfortunately. Maverick stayed in third. Noah J couldn't get past MCR. MCR stayed in fifth position. Ryan B also in that train. And all this is doing allowing Aledi, Ariel Jordan and Marcio to be back in this as well. Don't forget Marcio, even after that spin, is still in this race as well. Because if it was a regular LOE race, then the top 12 will be scoring points. And if you're inside the top 12 and you get fastest lap, well, you get a point of that as well. But actually, no, you don't. I'll need to double check that for the season, because I'm worried I'm going to get that wrong. There's more time penalties galore. We got Ryan B on the right-hand side, double Letty there into the stadium section. And Ryan Berry gets it nicely done up into 7th place on those mediums. I wonder, when will the crossover point be for the hards to be the faster tyre compared to the mediums? And I think that's when we can tell when is the best time for the medium runners to go on to the hard compound tyres. I have it noted down that they should appear around about lap 16, but we'll have to wait and see. We've got some moves happening out front as well. Marcio on the back of Jordan, yellow flag. We've got, I think it's a Williams once again, or it might be an Alpine actually, I'm not entirely sure, but there's someone that's binned it anyway. But Marcio, nicely timed from him, goes ahead up into 9th position on those hards. Jordan in 10th, so I wonder if those hards are starting to struggle in that Alpha.
Yeah, there might be always a possibility. Remember, the medium tyres, they can last up to around about lap 15, depending on what you want to do with them. Depends on how hard you push them. The hard tyres, they can last up to around about lap 19 to 20. And in fact, they can last a lot longer than that as well. I mean, it's completely up to what they can do out of these cars. Because remember, we're in the contracts. We don't know what setups they're using. We don't know exactly how hard they're pushing their tyres. They can last. I've seen it before that. I've seen some drivers do 28, 29 laps on a set of medium tyres. And they've then just chucked on a set of soft tyres. Telling that Ryan B being a bit of an issue as well in the corner. Gets all caught up though on the exit as well as up front. Meanwhile, we've got Chris and Maverick. These two still sparring away as we're going to use some ERS from Chris. No, he's just sticking behind right now. And remember, the DRS not as powerful in this year's game. It is really about the ERS momentum and the ERS push to get past. So you've got to use it strategically pretty much. The kind of like it is an IndyCar, we've only got a limited amount of users, because you use it too much, you will not have barely any of it left, and you will be there a sitting duck in the second stage. So it's all about when and where do you want to use it. Like Maverick, he's only got 30 compared to almost double, literally double of that for MCR. He's got 60. Sorry, for Chris, he's got 60. As well, to be fair, MCR also does have 60. So I can say that one as well without noticing it. Meanwhile, though, it is Flex. He's just having some fun right now up front. He's just chilling. The gap is kind of stabilised now around about 3 seconds as well. So not going up and not going down, which is pretty decent to see for them. MCR is in 5th. Jay in 6th. Ryan B in 7th. Jay, talking of the devil, has picked up a penalty right on cue. Lovely jubbly. A little bit of sparks coming out. That was the Mercedes up the road, and I think that might have been hitting the curb a little bit too much for MCR. Jay, is there an opportunity to come through here? Well, there might certainly be for Ryan B, as he's right up the rear end of him. DRS activated, and we're going to see a double dose of DRS, but not using ERS either, and you can see he is closing, but with the ERS not used, he's not closing hard enough. And remember, when you're in these trains of cars, there is not a lot of point using your ERS, because it's so easy suddenly to make a mistake. You do not gain a lot of time as you think. Meanwhile, up the road, I thought for a second we might have saw Chris having a potential, but I think a little bit too far back. Talking of too far back, is that close enough? Not quite. Is he going to try the old up and under? No, he's not. Bit of a twist then from Jay. As well on the exit is MCR, and he's rear-ended him. Yellow flags as well, as I believe that might be Esteban, who's had a bit of a spin through the corner. The Ferrari, we've seen many Ferraris having spins in recent time. He's got the Red Bull up his rear diffuser, and he's behind the Alpine and the Williams respectively as well. So back to 6th, 7th area, and it is still getting a bit closer and closer. I will say one of my favourite livery cars this season, and that is the Alfa Romeo. It's such a beautiful car design as well. It all just flows together. Aledi picks up a penalty. And in is that coming? No, he's just taking a very shallow line through the last corner. Can't quite do it. Still with burning ERS, and now is there an opportunity as Jay close enough to try and get in the outside line. He's going to be forced to go to the inside line. He's not going to battle that one too well. This is good on the brakes, which he most certainly has been in recent battles. To the outside line, he'll squeeze and wide, and it's going to be a little bit of contact. They'll rub wheels once, and they just about give each other enough room on the exit. And now a second bite of the cherry. Hello! Look at this! They're almost free abreast. They are now free abreast. Here it is. All of a sudden, the Alfa Romeo says, "Thank you very much. I'll take one. I'll take two. Thank you very much, Sonny Jim, and goodbye, that's mine." Off I go. The throw says, "No, thank you very much. I'm coming back through." I want that position. They bang. Oh dear. They've hit each other now. Slight half spin, but they keep together on the road. Ryan B. A beautiful move there. Up the inside, meanwhile, the hat coming up the inside of MCR. MCR's been mugged right now. He's been left on the street to fend for himself, and he's been eaten like animals.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate for MCR, but bearing in mind MCR is the one who keeps consistent and has less penalties. So these two keep fighting. Jesus Christ, there was Marcio there. Aledi has been left hand to dry, unfortunately, as MCR has got past him now as well. Only 1, 2, 3 drivers 4 drivers inside the top 10 have got no penalties so far. So if they're staying in this train a little bit, they can gain big positions towards the end of this race. But this is all about the battle for the midfield once again. We'll see who's going to gain first. It looks like Aledi's going to be the closest on MCR this time. So Aledi's going to move to the right, but we're seeing MCR closing the door, heading towards turn 1 and 2. And we're seeing then Aledi maybe not wanting to go for the move because he wants the DRS. But with the danger of that, it's allowing the two Jordans to be in this train. So we've got Mercedes, McLaren, Alfa Romeo versus Mercedes, and maybe YHYY as well. Aledi is going to be thinking about it towards turn 6 and 7. He's going to think better of it, I think. Yes, he's going to stay put at the moment. But Giant Bravery is now out of this race. He has retired in the pit lane. He's had enough. Both AlphaTauris out of the race. And we got a Red Bull in 14 and 17. This is close.
Jess, sorry to cut you over. MCR, a bit of a mistake there. Got too much on the curb. Rear end says no. Talking of rear ends of Mercedes, there's another one. There is the other Mercedes off. Up the inside, there's the McLaren. And Lady then, he's going to force him off the road slightly. He is off the road. He'll have to give that position back, I'd thought, potentially. I think he might give that position. Oh, they've hit each other. They have hit each other now, and that was no mistake there. As, hello, what's going on here, Aledi? Cutting the corner, is he letting him through? Yes, he was trying to let him through, I think, then. Yeah, so he did get an invalid overtake. I think MCR was trying to let Aledi through. Aledi then cut the corner. I don't know why and what he thought about doing that. That really threw him away. Now he's got a 5-second time limit for speeding in the pit lane. Jordan brought it towards that and said, well, okay, thank you very much. 2 positions for me again. So, a little bit interesting. I'm not quite sure what on earth's happened there between those two, but definite contact. MCR was trying to let Aledi through. For whatever reason, Aledi kind of cut the corner. I think potentially he was just I think he just went a little bit too early in the corner and then frustrated himself, dived into the pit lane, just didn't brake when he wanted to. Straight away, a 5-second time penalty. Meanwhile, Ryan B, J and Marcio's together. Damon and Bastios together as well. That's a little bit nice bit of battle on the outside line. Is the Alpine going to have an opportunity? No, he's not. Thinks better of it. And I've seen so many drivers very confident on the brakes, Jess, around here. And it's one of those skills. If you get confident on the brakes, you can brake extremely late.
Well, I kind of wish I was more confident on the brakes around this track because you know what? I'm absolutely awful. So they're already doing a lot better than I am. As we're seeing Esteban and Bastos going once again in towards the stadium section then. And Esteban holds on to 12th place for now, which will be points if it's a regular LRE race. But it is not, unfortunately, going to be points. But we'll see what we could do. Oh, that was a bit squirmy from Stevan there, but Bastos, I think, could gain a little bit as well. We'll keep an eye on the front then. See if anyone's going to make a move. Yellow flag. That is another. That is Harry F, unfortunately, has had a spin, so his race has gone from bad to worse. But here comes Bastos towards turn 1. Well, it's going to be a long run towards turn 1 anyway. Can he get the job done? Turn number 1. Yes, he can. His next stop is holding on to turn number 2. YHYY has gone off in the Williams, and that's allowing Damon to go past. Will Bastos catch up? I don't think Bastos is going to catch up, and they're probably not allowed to overtake due to the yellow flags, but we're now green flag racing. Harry F is going into the pit lane to go on from a set medium, so I believe it's set up the hard tyres. So he's going to pit, I think, on for his second stop of the afternoon. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Haas has gone off.
Marcio? Is that Marcio? It is Marcio off then, and he's hit the wall heavily, so that's his front wing gone, and that's the corner Sebastian Vettel went off, I think, is it not? There's another car off, that's Jordan who's also dropped it through that corner as well. Just in Timothy, he's also lost his front wing. Now, I don't know if they dropped it at the exact same time. There was some contact. They were near each other on circuit, so they may have come together, although it's always a possibility they have just synchronisally gone, I'll follow you off the road into the wall. The pit lane, that is Chris behind Maverick, and that was Harry F coming out of the pit lane in the Williams. These two closing up together again, 84% versus 44%, so they've all recharged their batteries. They're following each other very closely. They're going for a battle later on in this race with what, just over 21 and a bit laps to go. Still in this murder race, we are just coming past towards half race distance in a couple of laps time. I think lap 18 mid-race point of this race is another yellow flag, and that, I believe, please don't say that's Harry off. No, it's not. Is that YHYY off in turn 1? I think it was. Yes, it is. Meanwhile, Esteban up the inside of Bastos, and thank you very much yet again. Those two switching possession between the Alpine and the Ferrari. My two favourite, well, I'd say my favourite livery car. It would be if it hadn't had pink on it, because I don't like the pink on that livery. I liked it when it was a slightly different shade of blue. And was even if it was yellow, actually, I think yellow would have been a lot better than the BWT. It's not bad, but I don't like it as much.
Yes, I think without the pink, it would have been a lot nicer, the Alpine car. But anyway, personal preferences aside, it's not going to be that long before these drivers pit. Now, I did say lap 15 for the drivers to come into the pits. Well, they haven't come in yet, so are they, like you were saying earlier, Liam, are they going to be stretching those tyres to around about lap 18 on the mediums? I don't know. But we are seeing Marcia who's in, Letty who's in, Jordan is in, and it shows the mediums could last a bit longer. 20 laps, don't forget, these mediums can last. So I think they can do it once they get to around about lap 18, then they can put onto medium. So pretty much if you go on the medium for the hards, it doesn't really matter. That's what I like about the free tyre choice as well, and it gives, I think, the drivers who are in either lobby 2 or lobby 5 some ideas as well on strategy, because strategy pretty much changes from race to race. As Chris then 8/10 of a second to Maverick right now. Maverick's still in third, but has got quite a few time penalties. One driver that we haven't talked much about is Flex, absolutely flying away. We got one more time, and that's MCR. MCR, the man who I've been saying has been scoring points in every single race. Esteban's off as well.
Dropped it in the same place. He got on the curb and the rear end said no, and that's it's almost identical, presumably, what I've seen there. So that's a weird off, actually, saying that for MCR. He dropped it on the outside, and it's gone to the inside then. So he's dropped it. Yeah, that's a weird way to go off. Unless he's dropped it really early. I don't know. You don't normally see a car on the inside there. Jay and Ryan B have come into the pit lane for mediums. New nose for Jay, so he's damaged it. Ryan B, like I said, also in. I think that's for a set of medium tyres. So, what was that? A set of hards, actually. My apologies. I think, yeah, a set of hard tyres on that car. So, a few little switches around. So, a set of hards, a set of mediums, both at the same time. That's always going to be quite interesting. Marty picks up a 3-second time penalty, meaning we have only got, I believe, 3 drivers that have not picked up a penalty. Your race leader, who's so far been commanding and just taking it where he needs to, pushing as hard as he can, but not as hard as he wants, and just taking it to where he needs to go. He'll be coming into pit lane in the next couple of laps. I think he might stretch it to around that 20. Marty in second, Maverick in third. Chris still following up behind him in fourth. He's driven a superlative race so far, has saved nearly all of his ERS, and I imagine he might start thinking about potentially coming to pit in. There's always an option for a set of soft tyres if they can stretch it to around about lap 30, not lap 30, so if they stretch it to around about lap 24 to 28, there is an option for a set of soft compound tyres if they want to risk it. The soft tyres, remember, they do go off very quickly on this game. They are very temperamental, but they will give you a lot more performance than the hards and the softs. Remember as well, the outlap quite critical in these Formula 1 cars, as we've seen, as meanwhile Bartos comes in at the pit lane, because the delta for an outlap, it can be up to half to a second slower than a set of warm tyres. So it really is about when you want to take your tyres and when exactly you do not want to come in. As I say, a set of medium tyres for Bastos there, and off goes his set, I believe, of hard tyres, and past that goes the Mercedes of Jordan.
Yep, so ERT Jordan then, who pitted 5 laps ago, is now in 11th spot right now as well. And yes, I found out on this game soft does go wear off very quickly in a 50% race. If I were you, I would avoid the softs in the race, especially now because all the drivers in the qualifying session don't have mediums for qualifying anymore. They only have 4 sets of the soft compound tyres. So yeah, you don't really want to be using them. But again, we'll have to wait and see because you never know. They will have something up their sleeve as we're on lap 20 of 26. Still no major moves at the moment. I think we'll wait until a lot of drivers have made their pit stop, and we're just looking at the pit lane loss time in the dry condition. It's around about 20.5 seconds that you lose in the pit lane, and with no safety car, that is the time you're going to be losing today. You may lose more if you turn in late due to the pit lane stop mechanic, because that's the one thing that they've got to do as well, Liam, is their own pit stop. As soon as the game tells them to, they need to press a button, and there's some times where I press a button too late as well. But speaking of that, White, he's going into the pits, going onto a set of mediums. It looks like a decent stop to me, and he's going to come out. I don't know where he's going to come out, but quite a few drivers are going to be ahead of them. ERT Jordan is one of them. Bastos going to be ahead of him? This guy is very tight actually between White and Bastos, but I couldn't tell if the undercut or the overcut worked well, but to be honest, I think the one who's going to have the advantage at the moment is Bastos with the warmer tyres. But we'll see what the other drivers can do. We've got Slayer on the back of this as well. And speaking of Slayer, he's got another 3-second time penalty. Let's look at time penalties actually. The one with the most goes to Aledi on 11 seconds. So he must have got 5 seconds somewhere. So we'll probably be
pit lane.
So we'll probably drop down to 6 if he pits again. But he's not going to pit again, so probably will stay at 11 seconds. And I think the main corner that people get penalties is the S section. So the section that Jordan is racing at right now, which to be fair, I don't know how these guys are keeping it without penalties. As Ryan B has got past Damon because Damon is in the pit lane. And it was quite a long pit stop for him. So new nose as well. So yeah. After the damage earlier on, so he's going to lose a chunk of time than he usually would. Chris, though, he's gaining more time as well, so I wonder if he's gaining a little bit more momentum in his tyre wear compared to Maverick, because there's a few people that are good at time management, but there's a few people that do need to improve on this game. It does take a while to get used to the handling on this game.
Oh, Esteban in the last corner has dropped it, and no, you're not doing that, Sunshine, says the game. You tried to slap him in the pit wall there, and the game's just denied that opportunity. I think he might retire in the pit lane unless he dropped it again. He definitely hit the pit. He definitely suddenly turned sharp left back in the wall after he spun. I think out a bit of frustration there, but I think he got away with it. Jay, a 3-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So hopefully Esteban carries on and doesn't retire, because we don't want to see people retiring in races like this. It will not look good on them. Flex still leading this race, 4.3 seconds. The gap now starting to come down a little bit, but as he goes on, is he going to stretch it, Jess, you reckon, for a set of soft tyres? I mean, he stretched it 22 out of 36.
Well, it can be possible. I'm looking at what I've written down.
Oh, Esteban. Oh,
Esteban's out of the race. He binned it. Let's go on board with, I think, Ryan B. I keep calling him Ryan Berry tonight, but it's Ryan B. Yeah, that's turn number 1 to turn number 2.
I think he's put that in the wall, Jess, I'm afraid.
That is not what you want to do when you want to be placed in the division for this season, so...
I'd be very surprised if he's managed to... I did see him put himself in the pit wall originally, so... it's only a hinge. It's a big hinge, but I think
I wasn't on board with him, so it was hard to tell, but that is a bit of a shame, but we've got more people in the pit lane. Marty... Is Maverick going to think about it? Nope, he's not thought about it. So Maverick's staying out, so is Chris. And to be honest, the window of doing the hard to soft strategy is pitting on lap 20, I would say lap 26, lap 27. Anything more than that, then you would have to go on to 7 mediums. Marty, however, wants to go on mediums. Jordan, the birthday boy, well, his birthday's not going to go down well because he's retired. And where did he bin it? Into the S's. Let's go. The other Jordan, he's lost his front wing, so... but at least he's got a bit of birthday cake, hopefully, to celebrate, so you can celebrate his celebrations early. But, yeah.
You could say, Jess, his birthday celebrations here have been cut short in this race on lap 22, unfortunately. He joins the birthday boy. Well, Sebastian Vettel on his birthday dropped it here. Didn't drop it here, dropped it, I remember, Austria in 2015 or 2016, I remember. He dropped it on his birthday. Yeah. Finally, his tyres are flexing too much. Now, what tyres is he going to go on, I'm wondering? Is that a set of soft compound tyres, Jess?
Yes,
lap 24?
He's
when
brave.
I said you could do it. It is lap 24. In comes Maverick, and I'm going to guess a set of soft compound. Lead this race for the first time this afternoon. Out comes Flex. He'll be in second position. Maverick on a medium tyres, make a new nose as well. So because you will have slightly, he'll have that shorter pit stop window. In fact, Maverick comes up behind Ryan B, who will go to the end of this race with 12, 13 laps to go, Jess. Anything's still going to happen, and it very much easily can. Jay in 6th, Leddy ahead of Marcio, YH in 9th, Damon ahead of Bastos, Jordan ahead of Slayer, and Harry in 14th with Jordan, Esteban, MCR, Bravery, and Cowman all out of this race.
And yeah, so 5 retirements already, and obviously a few people retired in the pit lane, but there was a few people that binned it. There was nothing that could be done. But with the ones that retired in the pit lane, well, they probably will think again if they do not get placed in a division. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, Chris has got to think about whether he comes in because, well, he's probably done the right thing for staying out because... And now he's going to the pits. But he's done the right thing, probably staying a few laps early because the ones that are on the softs, they came in so early. I'm questioning to start on whether those softs are going to make it. Chris thinks that those softs won't make it and the mediums will. So has Chris played a strategy masterclass and will he be able to get those soft runners? Well, the soft runner of Flex at the end. We'll have to wait and see. But Flex has got to make sure that he gets the gap increased by a lot in the next few laps, because otherwise his tyres are going to start to die very soon as well.
Not necessarily, Jess. Not necessarily. What he can do here is not push as hard as the likes of Marty can. He can conserve his tyres a little bit. Let him to close up a tiny bit here and there. Don't take all your life out of the tyres, and then when you need it on the last couple laps, then you can start pushing. That's what he might do. He'll have a lot more grip through the high-speed section, but in the low-speed sections, he can take it a little bit more easier. That's what I reckon he'll do here, because the gap was 3.7 seconds. It was 3.2 seconds, so maybe he's not... Well, that is for the fast sections. That's how much more these tyres go. He's got, 11 laps to go. These tyres should be able to do that. They can last 11, 12, 13 laps before they start getting towards a little bit more of critical range. Remember as well, we do have damage on... at least it is on full, so you can break your car and retire if you hit the wall as well. So they want to be careful they don't take too much life, because remember, puncture range will happen. They will have punctures if damage is on. They only have it off if damage is not on anything more than reduced, if memory serves me correct. As you can see, meanwhile, a gaggle of cars, Ryan B, Maverick, and Jay all together, and I think Maverick should pretty easily be able to take this car of the Alfa Romeo. The Aston Martin goes to the inside, and that's like taking candy from a baby. I don't think Ryan B was going to put too much of a fight up there. In fact, I don't think he had any attention to either.
No, and I think the Ferrari versus the Alfa Romeo is still going to fight it here, heading towards turn number 3. Yellow flag! That's Marty out of the race. Marty's binned it, but let's watch this battle unfold between Ryan B and Noah J. Heading towards turn number 4. Noah J almost looked to the inside, but doesn't quite do it on this occasion. But what a shame for Marty. He was running so well, but again, the unluckiness has got to him about his retirement. Yeah, on the curb as well. We just seen on board with Noah J. That was very unfortunate for him. So another retirement for him. And oh my God, Noah J is going to be very brave on the brakes there with Ryan B. Devil. He's going to get him here in towards the same section. DRS was that wide open to the right-hand side. My oh my, what a move from Noah J. That was absolutely incredible. But it looks like Ryan B can fight back here. He's not going to fight back. Noah J, take a bow there. I know he's got quite a few penalties, but he got the move done very easy. Well, very easy as well. He's almost ran out of VRS as well. So he must have used a lot of VRS to try and get past the Alfa Romeo driver.
Look at that. Coming back.
He's coming back at Noah J then, and I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, he's come back. Another driver out this race. YHYH has dropped it as well. YHYY might say dropped it as well. He through the S section. Another driver who's been caught, foul victim of the Armco barrier, and is most certainly dead. That is now down to 13 runners in this race, and the 13 that have finished, all of them, apart from Jordan, has picked up a time penalty. So everyone has been a little bit naughty here and there, but everyone's just about keeping themselves on the island. I'll tell you what, Flex, that gap was coming down. Now, if I was Flex, I probably would just take this a little bit gently now. He could stop again if he really wanted to. If the tyres, if he felt like they were overheating. It's what about a 22, 23 second gap down, so he'll come out around Maverick, but if you get to another set of soft tyres, that'll be easily manageable to come back through the field, and they will make it from that if he wants to. He doesn't have to. He can conserve those tyres. He's got a massive gap. Meanwhile, still battling here between Jay and the Alfa Romeo, and the Alfa Romeo drops back behind, but what he'll do again here is... hello! Sneaky Jay! Sneaky Jay, you sneaky little devil, you broke! He broke there, but was that work? Will he get DRS? No, he won't. He's wiggling. Look, he's wiggling. Ryan B. wriggling. Let's say, haha. No, it's not work, my friend. You've done the wrong part of him. You've not got it correct. Those two trying to do little tactics. It didn't work. It didn't work last time. Unless they hit each other and it was just a friendly letting each other back through. If it was, that's good team play and good respect between them. But I think there was a little bit of team... But a little bit of funny... Well, what do I say? Funny play. A little bit of... fun little tactics. I like doing they do that with the DRS. Very much which I've seen a few times. Basically, with the likes of Jeddah, they do it a lot, unfortunately. But it didn't well last season, but this season they did, and it went quite well for Verstappen and Leclerc. Like when it was Verstappen and Hamilton, in which case they tried to kill each other. Jay, time penalty nearly right there, a little bit off the circuit. Now, is he going to come back? Or is he going to sit back and relax? No, he's going for it. Up the inside he'll go. Now, are we going to see round number 62 here? They get very close of touching. And Ryan B has to bail out of that one. But we'll have DRS and it will probably come back through if he can. Although saying that, Ryan B has a lot better exit this time. Got that gap a little bit higher up than he did last time. So I think that battle might be over. He's now enter lap 29. Jay now having a little bit of a swervy-worvy. Saying that, he's coming back. Let's see with DRS. Is he close enough to come back through? Is the outside line? Yes, he is. So Ryan B back around the outside. The Ferrari holds the inside line. Can't quite do it now. We'll sit back. We'll relax, regroup, and he'll come straight back through again. Bit of a twitch on the exit for the Ferrari. And this is all going to invite Ryan to come through if he wants. He's going to the inside line. He'll be brave to take a dive from there. He's going for it down the inside. Hit each other. No, just about not. The Ferrari opens the door up. He opened it too much up. Now is he going to go back up the inside? That's going to be in contact. Yes, it is. That was inevitable. And around he nearly goes. And there might be a little more wiggling for those two as well. And the McLaren here is going, hello, I'm here. I've come to join the party. And well, he most certainly is here as long as he doesn't drop it immediately, which he doesn't, thank the Lord. I thought for a second he was. Keeps it on the island. Marcio down in 7th. Damon in 8th. Up front, meanwhile, Flex is just having a little party right now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still keeping the gap, 20.2 seconds, and maybe that's why he went onto the soft tyres, because he knew he can get the gap to a decent amount. And to be honest, I would say he was absolutely dominating, but we still got a free-car train that we want to fight with. So everybody else in this race is pretty much running on their own and doing some time trial laps, so we're just going to watch these three battle to the death at the moment. But I think Ryan B's lost some DRS to Noah J, which is allowing Aledi to close in a little bit as well. And he's also going to go on and have the DRS on next straight then. So let's see what he could do in the McLaren.
He's lost the rear.
As he's lost the rear, so that's invited Aledi to get the move potentially, and that was nice and comfortable from him towards turn number 4. Or will Ryan B challenge him? It doesn't look like Ryan B's challenging, so I wonder if he's just struggling with more of tyre temp, or maybe he doesn't like the hard tyres around this circuit, and maybe Aledi is just a little bit more comfortable with this track. Quite a lot of people I know, when they've been back to Mexico, saying they don't like this track. I'm probably glad that is over. I don't think Mexico's on at the calendar for Season 8. No, it's not. So I think for most of these drivers, they're probably relieved that it's not going to be on the calendar. But Harry F comes in. And to be fair play to Harry F, by the way. Despite the trouble he's had, he's still in his race. And he's going on to soft tyres. Why not? Get a bit of glory. Try and get a fastest lap. But he's not going to lose anything because he's 12 anyway. And I know Harry F. Even if he has a horrible race, he still would like to run at a decent position, because you're going to get points anyway, even though it's not a regular league race. But that's still a sign of things to come later on then. The gap increased a bit more, 20.4 now, so flexing just a little bit more. Ryan B is going to chase down Aledi once more as well. And I think we got a ghosted car as well. He's moved out the way. Harry's moved out the way. But I wonder if Aledi's picked up DRS in the process. Nope, he is not.
Yeah, they're just sitting back right now. They're relaxing. A bit of a lock-up as well as... tell you what, Ryan, he's got the tyres back up to temperature. Now remember, 13 versus 17. Now, if I know my maths correctly, 13 is lower than 17. Yep. And it's on the hards versus soft. So those soft tyres, well, the medium tyres, might I say, probably aren't feeling very good right now. I'm afraid.
Race.
Oh, Ryan! No! Never mind. I take it all back. Ignore me. Oh no. Well, I said there was always an opportunity and he could come back. Never mind, he didn't fall. Now, I'm not going to say Jess. I've cursed him, but...
You did.
I think I've cursed him. Oh dear. Well, there's another one. I think that's third driver I've murdered today.
I cursed one and you cursed two. Knowing me, I'll probably end up cursing another one in a minute. But there we go. Now we're down to 11 runners in this motor race, this Mexican Grand Prix. I hope that's not the case in my race tonight. Otherwise, it's going to be even more interesting. But pretty much only Ariel Jordan has got no penalty. Everybody else has got at least one. Let's look at the time penalties, actually, as the lady closes in on Noah J. So, 3 seconds for Flex, 6 seconds for Chris and Maverick, 12 seconds for Jay, 14 seconds for Aledi, Marcio 9 seconds, Damon 15, Bastos 3, Jordan with nothing, Slayer on 9, and Harry F on 3 seconds. So if you're flexing Harry F, those 3 seconds will be fine. But obviously Harry F is a long ways behind anyway. But Flex, I think, will be sitting pretty at the moment. He can just afford to just take it easy for the final few laps. He's pushing anyway. He is pushing. He's got no ER on his battery. So that is interesting in contrast to Chris. Even though he's 20.3 seconds down the road. He's on 50%, so he's doing a lot better. Maverick's doing pretty okay with his ERS. Same with Noah J, Aledi as well. Marcio, as he's lost it a little bit there in the stadium section, cuts up. He's going to be on the cusp of losing a lot of ERS. Damon as well. Bastos doing okay. Jordan is a bit meh. Sayre doing alright. Harry F's running out of ERS, but he just wants to make sure he doesn't get... He's trying to unlap himself, look, for Noah J. That's what he's doing, and he's done it. But anyway, we are on the final few moments of the race. I wonder if Flex's tyre is starting to die a little bit, because Chris is closing the gap just a little bit, even though it may not make that much of a difference, but anything could happen in Formula 1.
Yeah, you ought to be careful right now as you just come through this middle section. And the crowd all above us all starting to rise up. You got a car there, that's a Jordan. He's just been lapped just a few moments ago. Flex, I think right now he's probably not pushing it too heavily. He's just about, in fact, he's weaving a little bit down the straight. I'm wondering if he's got some kind of, his DRS is turning off, so he's just using it all down the straight. He's just having a bit of fun right now. He knows right now that as long as he doesn't make a mistake, he's pretty much won this race. And I think he's proved anyway, if he did drop it, off where he does deserve to be. And there's always an opportunity. Why would a Marty been in this race? He wasn't too far back. It was about 3-4 seconds. That race could have been a lot more different, but Marty did drop it. He was driving a beautiful race up until then. Like I said, 11 drivers still here. So it's just about half of the field gone, with half the field still to come. And all of them, of course, only 8 on your lead lap, I think. Yes, 8 on the lead lap.
Yeah, and everyone else a lap down.
Yeah, so there we go. That 34, that 35 coming up right now. And if what to say about Flex, he has driven a commanding performance, hasn't he, Jess? Pretty much from start to finish, has led pretty much every lap, bar one. Of course, that's when he stopped. Since then, he's led every other race where he's been near, well, where everyone else has stopped. So pretty much a grand slam for him. Got pole as well. And a pretty good performance, all things considered, isn't it?
Yep, it is. We're on the penultimate lap of this race, and let's see who's benefited as well as Flex. I have to say, Eddie's benefited a lot despite the penalties. Noah J as well. Biggest losers, though, it's got to be obviously the 2 Upper Dowries who retired. Jordan is trying to get past Sled, and we thought there was going to be no battles in this motor race anymore, but look at this. We've got an Alfa Romeo versus a Red Bull. Ariel Jordan versus Slayer, who took a break from Malawi for a season and is now back with a vengeance versus Ariel Jordan, who's been at Malawi for quite a while, who's looking to chase him down. This is going to be very exciting, and I know they're probably a lap down, but they're going to still give it their absolute all anyway as they try to make sure they save quite a bit of battery before the final lap entails at the moment. But Gap's coming down, Flex is not pushing too much. Jordan, I think, lost a bit of time there in this section because he's now 1.5 seconds behind Slayer, unfortunately. Slayer's dropped down 4 positions, but at least he's going to get a decent amount of points. And obviously the organisers are keeping an eye on the drivers' pace because it's very important that these drivers can remain consistent and never give up on a tough day. But we are about to, as we are going to, start the final lap of this race. 18.3 seconds between Flex and Chris. Two from different esports teams there, which just goes to show that being an esports team is quite decent as well. But yeah, I'm glad I'm not doing the maths here because there's loads of penalties and I don't know where people are going to end up after this.
Yes, well, what it would seem, Jess, is that the top 3 will stay as they are. The top 4 will stay as they are. Potentially, Marcio might jump up 1 position, maybe 2 if he's close enough between him and them. Aledi will likely drop down 1, maybe only 1 position. Damon will stay possibly where he is. Bastos quite far back behind. And then we've got Slayer, who will very much drop behind Jordan. And Harry will finish last no matter what will happen. He's, I think, unless something very dramatic happens to the cars ahead. But fair enough, Harry, he's been a flying super trooper. But here comes Flex through the last couple of corners. And, well, he's had a nice, cool performance. There goes the fireworks. All of them go off. Through he comes then into the last corner. And it's a nice smooth drive then from the man, the Aston Martin driver, who people doubted he would those tires with the last. They did. To the end of the race, and he'll win here in Mexico, and that is a commanding performance. He might have slowed a little bit. That's not going to matter too much. Through the last corner comes Chris, then he'll be in 2nd position. I think he'll take that one very handily as well as he comes across the line then for P2. Maverick in P3, making an Aston Martin 1st and 3rd position respectively. And that will be music to the Aston Martin team right there. Jay will cross the line on circuit in 4th, though I believe might drop down behind Marcio. It could be very close. Let's see. Marcio will jump ahead of Aledi. He will jump ahead of Jay as well. So those guys switch. Damon comes through the last corner. He might just stay where he is, I believe, as he comes across the line. 7th position for the Red Bull driver. Next up, Bastios, I believe. If my maths is correct, it will be around about 2 to 3 seconds between these 2 drivers. So let's see what they can be. Bastos through the last corner. And the answer to that one, 4.2 seconds between them right there. So it wasn't too far off of my mental maths.
Yeah, you weren't, Liam. Well done. So who's going to get driver of the day in game? It is Aledi that gets driver of the game. Driver of the day there. And to be honest, one of my stand-up performances from Aledi today, who gained probably the most positions out of anybody. But it is Flex who is the star of the show. Pretty much took the lead early on and never looked back. Absolutely flawless performance. To be honest, the only driver that we barely talked about in this race, because he was one of the only drivers that hardly had any problems. So, well done to him. So we got an Aston Martin, a McLaren, and I can't remember who else, which other constructor is on the podium. Oh, 2 Aston Martins, as Liam was alluding to earlier on, but there we go. I love the Mexican Grand Prix podium. It looks very nice, doesn't it? It just looks beautiful. But we'll run through your order very quickly. So we got Flex that won. He only picked up 3 seconds of penalty, and he got the fastest lap of the race as well, so fair play to him. Not quite the Grand Slam because he didn't get pole position. Chris in second, Maverick third, Marcio jumped to 4th on penalties. Then we got Noah J, Aledi, Damon, Bastos, Jordan, Slayer, Harry F are your finishers, and your timers are Ryan B, YHYY, Marty, Jordan, Steban, MCR, Giant Bravery, and Carmen. We only had 19 drivers that were racing in this Mexican Grand Prix tonight. 2 lobbies down this evening, still 2 more to go.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 more, but Jess, that's been a fantastic race, hasn't it? Flex driving his skin off. I think very much he'll be nearer the front of the top grid. Like I said, there was still a few questions, like I said, Marty, where he could have been in this race had he not have gone off. And when he did, he wasn't about 2-3 seconds off the race leader. So there's a lot of questions. He'll probably be disappointed where he is. But Jess, I'll let you round up because I do know you've got another race to do in a minute.
Yes, I do. And for those of you that are wondering, I'm racing in Lobby 4 in about 20 minutes' time. So if you want to go and support me in Lobby 4, that'll be streamed on the Eloise YouTube channel. Or if you want to, you can watch Lobby 2, which is on at the same time. I need to check who the commentators are for that, because I know Lobby 2 commentators are the same, but I know Lobby 4's changed from last week. So, Lobby 2 will be streamed by J. Cole, and Carmen will be joining him in the commentary box. And in Lobby 4, we've got Matthew and we've got Maverick, who just raced in this lobby. So, let's hope I didn't say any bad things about him in this race, because otherwise he's going to curse me like no end. But anyway, those are the 4 commentators commentating on us the rest of this evening. No interviews, because like I said, I've got a race to go to, and I need to practice because I haven't done much practice. But anyway, I've been Jessica Bull, Evil Dragon has been Liam New, and it depends on which division we'll be commentating on this season, but we will be commentating, hopefully. We will see you next week for the first round of Eloise Season 8 on the F1 22 game. Should be very exciting. Make sure you catch Lobby 2 and Lobby 4 at 8:10. See you very soon, and good night.